I spend the night throwing rocks and sticks and pine cones at the man-people's roof, but he just stays inside. The truth is, I don't know how to put a curse on his garden so that nothing grows but thorns. I don't know how to put a spell on his hearth or his well water, and I certainly don't know how to give a cow wings. Why did the good queen have to leave and put me in charge of the forest, I wonder? So many of our other fairies have more magic than me. I go back to my nest in the old oak tree, feeling grouchy as a badger. Usually my nest is very comfortable. It's made from blankets and ropes and other things I took from the village when no one was looking, but today I toss and turn in my hammock among the branches. When I finally fall asleep, I dream of the summer country. That's where all the fairies are now, all the fairies but me. Time passes slow and sweet as honey there, and no one is ever cold or hungry. In my dream, I can see the summer country just ahead. All my fairy friends are waving at me, fleet and flit and wing and dart. I run and run, but I can't seem to get there. The sun is high when I wake up. I have slept the morning away. Above me in the pattern of green leaves there is a face. It shifts and swishes in the breeze. Oh, Mr. Green, I say, I'm in trouble. I don't know who Mr. Green is exactly, but whenever I need him, he is there. Sometimes in the ripples on the river, sometimes in the sunlight on the forest floor. He gives me good advice. What is it? His voice is whispery, like leaves rustling. My stomach, it feels like the time I ate rocks. Hungry then? No. I sit up. Now I see Mr. Green's face in the wrinkly bark of my oak tree. His eyes are knots, and his nose is a little branch. It's that man, people. He's in the abandoned cottage where he's not allowed. What if the good queen of the fairies comes back and finds him living there? Peoples live in cottages. It's what they do. That's no help. How can I get rid of him? Let me think. I try to be patient, but Mr. Green thinks for a long time. A fuzzy caterpillar inches along one of the ropes of my nest. I pick it up carefully and put it on a leaf which it starts to chew. My stomach gives a gigantic rumble. I knew it, says Mr. Green. Breakfast is what you need. Breakfast solves most of your problems, Nix. A fairy only needs an acorn for breakfast. My stomach rumbles again. Or maybe two. I stand up on a branch holding the trunk of the old oak tree and look down over the forest. I see no sign of the people, but I know he's there. Please help me, I say. How can I make him leave when I have no magic? Now Mr. Green's face is huge. His eyebrows are shaggy pine trees. His smile is the curve of the river far away, but I still hear his voice at my ear. Village, he says. Food and drink. A fairy only needs a dewdrop to drink, I say. A flower petal for a cup. A dewdrop, he says, chuckling. A flower. The whole forest shakes, and suddenly I am inside Mr. Green's laughter. It sounds like branches creaking. Fine, I shout. Don't help. I'll do it myself. I do not take Mr. Green's advice and go to the village. Instead, I go to the cottage again. A fairy doesn't need magic to make mischief, I tell myself. I will steal things. I will break things. I will cause ruin and disaster. And if none of that works, I will show that man-people my foul face, and he will run away in terror. The cottage has changed since yesterday. The vines that covered it have all been pulled away. Foxes and squirrels and other forest animals are carved round the door. Who used to live here, I wondered? Who made this pretty place? Surely not that horrible man-people with the nails. The garden patch is a square of dirt now, ready for planting. All the weeds are piled high by the side of the cottage. I remember what I told him. I will curse your garden so nothing grows but thorns. That man-people will not see one green shoot in this garden, I promise myself. I want to get closer to see what else he's done, but just as I'm about to take a step, I see it, a line of salt. Someone has made a big white circle all around the cottage, the garden, and the little barn. This is powerful magic, meant to keep a fairy out. If I set 1 foot over that line, I will shrivel like a garden slug, down and down until I'm only the size of a bug. I run back behind the shivery tree, my heart bumping in my chest. Oh, I think that man, people, he is rotten, he is mean. He knows things about fairies. My stomach rumbles and groans. I remember Mr. Green's advice. Of course, he didn't want me to go to the village just for breakfast. He must want me to talk to Rose the Wise. She'll know what to do about my people problem. Why didn't you just say that in the first place, Mr. Green, I say?